That was weird. I'm back. Gamers. I guess we'll go back to questions. Guys, send in your questions. I'm gonna answer them. I guess I goofed. I don't know why. Learning civics in my school. I can really only give you advice on, like, learning our governmental system, which I think is what civics class is, but I'm not even 100% sure on that because I don't go to, like, a normal school. I go to a funky online school. But, for me, reading the Constitution cover to cover, and it's not that long, cleared a lot of things up to me, and I believe that there are some, like, modern explanations of the Constitution, but once you read the Constitution, that is the founding document that every one of our nation's laws and everything that happens in our country, it's all built off of that one single, very old document, and it's here in D.C. So you can kind of, if you read the Constitution, I think that explains a lot of it. Got a lot of clothes here that I've been waiting, because I didn't have hangers up until last week, and then I haven't had time. Oh, jeez. Cool, so that just took a button off of a jacket of mine. Yeah, reading the Constitution can be helpful. Reading and learning how to read, like, laws and stuff can also be very helpful. Those kinds of things are helpful and can also be a fun learning experience, I think. I always like learning about the reasoning behind our laws and, like, why sometimes it seems like our system just makes no freaking sense at all, and then you kind of read the stuff that our systems are based off of, and then you're like, oh, okay, that's why everything has to be so freaking complicated all the freaking time. Let's go to another question. Like I said in the first live stream, this is going to be very rambly. You think there should be a constitutional amendment protecting all rights of LGBTQ persons? Here's my thoughts on that. I think no. Because I think in sexual discrimination, I think in Title X, I believe that those rights extend to all people regardless of sexual orientation. If it is necessary, and I believe that with this administration, with the Trump administration, and what they are doing to try and roll back protections on LGBTQ plus people, I think that it might be necessary to pass something like the Equality Act. You should look it up. It's called the Equality Act. Very easy to spell. It's getting a lot of support from organizations like HRC. And you should check it out. Talk about some other stuff, gamers. Let me tell you guys. The question is, how do you feel knowing there's a hermit crab named after you? And you know what? I don't feel that different. And look, that might sound mean, but here's the explanation. Because I used to have 2 hermit crabs, and they were named Bunga, after a character that I play, and Toby, after another character that I play. This ain't the first time. Honestly, thanks though, that's pretty tight. I expect some of you to try and one-up whomever named their hermit crab against me and have an actual child and name them Joshua R. Joshua Rush, and then whatever your, like, last name is. So do that. Good question. If I knew how to talk to anyone that I liked, probably wouldn't be single right now. This is an interesting question. The question is, for anyone who can't read, I guess, question is, what was your favorite Andy Mack season to film? And it changes, depending on kind of what specific memories I'm thinking about, because really, the whole thing, being able to film the entire thing was a freaking dream come true for me. So there's no one specific part that sticks out as, like, way better than all the others, you know? Which is kind of what my criteria would be for deciding if something was, like, my favorite season. So I don't really have one right now. It's season 3 because after this notice of the cancellation kind of came out to everyone, was announced, everyone's kind of been reminiscing and talking about season 3, so I've been thinking about it a lot more. But I'm sure if I was thinking about season 2 more, I'd probably say season 2. And if I was kind of reminiscing on season 1 more, I'd probably end up saying season 1. So it really... And I've kind of been reminiscing on all of it, but season 3 has been the one that I've been thinking about a little bit more, and it's also a little bit more fresh in my mind. For any of you who are saying that I'm not athletic, I mean, just... Those are my glasses. Wow, I can't see. I am blind. Oh man, I have so many shoes. Ooh, here's a fun thing. I'm gonna close that. Got a gift for the other interns. It's a very lame gift, but I wanted to get something American flag themed. There's the gift I got them. It's an antenna topper, but I think I'm gonna put it on pens and then... It's the stupidest thing. Why are 1,700 people? Hang on. Looking for interesting questions. How do you feel about working in an office? Here's the thing, right? I kind of expected a lot of what I ended up getting. And it's kind of been fun in, like, a weird way. Like, you watch shows like The Office, which is not a show that I'm particularly obsessed with, but I have watched quite a lot of it. Because, you know, it's The Office and everyone watches it. But, like, I kind of expected it to be a little bit like that, but my office is a very well-run, well-oiled machine. And it's been exciting in a weird and almost masochistic way. In this masochistic way, I've really enjoyed being completely shot down from, like, being at the top of the podium, the top of the totem pole, like you are as an actor on a TV show, all the way down to the very, very bottom, like you are as an intern. And it's actually been, like, a surprisingly fun... These have to go in the wash. It's actually been a surprisingly fun experience to be kind of sent down to the bottom. And I've gotten the chance to kind of learn a lot. And it's also given me a lot of experience and understanding for, like, what it means to call your congressman, and what happens on the other end of that phone line, and, like, learning how the Congress members take into account what their constituents are saying. I think all that stuff is really interesting. So it's been really fun working in an office. And I really like the people in my office, which I don't doubt that has helped. All right. So I might as well address it. I don't really know yet. You know, like, there's a couple of people that I really think are great, and they're not particularly in any one area of the political spectrum. Currently, my, like, number one is Pete Buttigieg, because I think he's incredibly smart, and I also love having an LGBTQ plus candidate who really makes waves. But I have donated to quite a few candidates across the field. I donated to Andrew Yang, despite not particularly agreeing with all of his policies. I agree with some of them without a doubt. But but I do think it's important to be able to talk about universal basic income, which is kind of the tenet of his campaign. So I think that it's important to talk about that. So I donated to help him get onto the debate stage. I've donated to Buttigieg because I think he's incredibly smart and would absolutely demolish President Trump, I think, on the debate stage. I think Buttigieg... nobody hears me in my closet. I think Buttigieg is incredibly smart, and I think that there's something to be said for that. He's a Rhodes Scholar. He went to, Harvard, I believe. He speaks 7 languages. He brought the town of South Bend into a completely different level. So I think that there's a lot to be said for what Pete Buttigieg has brought to South Bend. So I think it's interesting. What would happen if this is the question that I think is actually being asked here is what would be the first thing that you do as president? And I think that there's something to be said here for this question, which is that what the question is really asking is what would be the first thing that you do if you were dictator of America for a little bit, because the president doesn't have an insane amount of power on his own. He has more than any singular member of Congress does, but the president has got to pass his laws and legislation through Congress, and yeah, so there's something to be said that question isn't really a valid one from the very beginning. Beyond that, what would I do if I was dictator of America? I'm not. I would probably try and strengthen labor unions, if that was at all possible. Hang on. I would try and enumerate, put it into the law that there is a right to choose whether or not you want to have an abortion. Also probably would put something like same-sex marriage in the Constitution as legal, to kind of just enumerate it. I would want to entertain the possibility of single-payer health care. I think that that's something that's incredibly important. I would want to... Hang on. I'd like to address the student debt crisis, and I'm going to have to go in a minute. So that's kind of probably everything that I'm going to say. But I do believe that the student debt crisis is incredibly important. Oh, and immediately halt the building of the wall, because it's stupid, it won't help. And it's just blatant racism. So, yeah, if you're doing racist stuff, I'd like to avoid that. And I would actually probably not prosecute racism in and of itself as a crime, but I would expand the rights of people to protect themselves against discriminatory hate speech. Exactly how that would work, I don't really know. Anyway, it is 9:58. I've got a call with someone at 10 p.m. DC time, which is ridiculous. But I'm going to have to make that call. So I'm going to peace out now. Goodbye, gamers.